Okay, we have a great speaker today brought to us by our own Anne Beauregard, Jacqueline Poro. She is with, I'm going to let her introduce that, but she's got some pamphlets up here, and she has a unique ministry, and I think it's going to be fascinating to talk about. So there's a little time afterwards for questions and answers, and it is definitely a service that is needed and probably will be needed as time goes on, and our population gets older. So with that, no more ado. So please welcome Jacqueline. A nice hand.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear her?
Does that work? Okay, great. Thank you so much for having me. This is lovely, beautiful space. It's a beautiful community. Thank you for inviting me. So I'm Jacqueline Poro. I thought I'd tell you a little bit about myself and then share with you what I have been doing with the Talking Information Center. I am a mom of 3. I live in Hanover. And in my former life, I practiced as an attorney. So I actually practiced for 16 years. And after I had my children, when they were very, very small, one of my children has some special challenges. And that sort of led me into the world of special education law. And I did that for a period of time. I loved working for families and kiddos in the schools and negotiating their individualized education plans. It was a huge blessing in my life. And at some point when that started to get very, very busy, my family life also got very, very busy with the 3 kiddos. And so I had this wild opportunity to act as the executive director of a nonprofit on the Cape that ran summer camp. So just a direction I didn't see things going. And I took that opportunity because I thought it would be something that maybe my skills and abilities would align with, and at the same time my kids could be with me at summer camp. And I would, I thought it was the best of both worlds. I did that for a couple years, and what I learned during that time is I was built for nonprofit leadership. So I thought the law was going to be what I did, long term, but really, I am a very mission-driven person. I like working for groups of people who sometimes need a little bit of advocacy. Maybe they are a little bit marginalized, or maybe they're a lot marginalized, and I like doing that kind of work on a big scale. And so, after the camp, I found myself in Brockton for years working for Code Connect. You might have heard of them. Code Connect does STEM education for traditionally under-resourced youth. So I spent a few years here in Brockton. I still consult for Code Connect. It's a fantastic organization.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is STEM education?
Oh, I'm sorry, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. So it's a lot of computer coding, things like that. After Code Connect, I landed at Talking Information Center, and that's where I am now. I've been there for about 18 months. It has been a fabulous, fabulous place to work. And the mission of the Talking Information Center is to bring community and independence to people who can't access print material. So in other words, we're a reading service, meaning we read publications, newspapers, magazines, items of interest to people who are blind, low vision, or otherwise print disabled. Some people wonder what that means, that print disabled, and essentially it means if you have trouble holding print or accessing print for any reason. Sometimes people with Parkinson's or MS have trouble holding the newspaper or holding the book. We read. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about some of our statistics because they are quite impressive at the Talking Information Center. I also want to tell you, we're in Marshfield. I don't think I mentioned that. We're in Marshfield. We have studios in the WATD radio station. What we do is we bring in more than 200 volunteers, people come in and read for us. We do 213 broadcasts a week. We work 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, 24 hours a day you can listen to us. And you might wonder, well, how can I listen to you? What would I use to listen to you? And we have a whole myriad of ways that you can listen at the Talking Information Center. We have little radio receivers that are on a secondary audio channel that you can call my office and request one, and I can send one to you. And all you have to do to use that radio receiver is turn it on and adjust the volume. You don't have to tune it to anything. And then we are available on our website. You can listen through our website, like I said, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Amazon Alexa and Google Home, we have, you can say, we have a new command. I wrote it down to tell you what it is. Our new command, I think, it's just open Talking Information Center to your Google Home or Amazon Alexa. And then the menu will pop up verbally for you, and you can direct it to either listen live or even on demand. If you wanted to hear the Boston Globe, but we weren't playing it right then, you could say, play the Boston Globe from today, and you would hear the Boston Globe for yourself. And then the last way that we're available is our app. There's an app for your phone, for Android and Apple phones, and you can go on the app and listen to us there. And the thing that's so great is that not only can you listen live, which is all the time you can listen live, but you can also, if you know you want to hear a particular program, maybe Diabetes Hour or Medical Hour, or maybe you want to hear the symphony. We broadcast the Plymouth Philharmonic and the Atlantic Symphony Orchestra. You could just say to your Amazon Alexa or on the app or on the website to go to that particular program and just listen to that at the moment that you would like to. We do 8,736 hours of broadcasting a year. Wild, right? Our shows are 57 minutes long or 27 minutes long, depending on what you're listening to. And we read 300 publications a week. So there is a tremendous amount of variety in what you can listen to with us. And I think I mentioned we have over 200 volunteers that come in. And I think that that's really sort of the beauty of the Talking Information Center, because you get to hear a human voice speak to you. It's not AI generated on the computer. It's very personal. One of the people who listens to us said it's like having a friend in the room. You kind of get used to who's reading the Boston Globe or who's reading National Geographic, and you kind of expect that, and it's like I said, like having a friend in the room. We are a very financially transparent organization. We file our 990s with the AG's office. I very oftentimes will post financial accountability on our social media posts, on our Facebook and Instagram. We operate with a very efficient and small staff. Right now, we are operating with 6 staff, 3 of whom are part-time. I'm full-time as executive director, our producer is full-time, and then our program content creator is full-time, because now that people have less and less print coming to their homes, we oftentimes have to curate our material by scouring the internet and finding enough articles about a particular topic and putting that information together to form a program. Our annual budget is $490,000 a year. $350,000 of that comes from an earmark in the governor's budget. We are very grateful to Senator Patrick O'Connor and all the legislators on the South Shore who tirelessly advocate for us for that earmark. But my job, in large part, is also to do private fundraising. It's my responsibility to bring in somewhere around $100,000 to meet that difference in our budget between the earmark and private funding. So The ways that I do that is we have an annual appeal every year, and I post very, very regularly what we take in on the annual appeal, and then we do a big gala, which is very fun. And this year, Candy O'Terry and Rob Hackler are dual hosting our gala. It's going to be a fun night. It's June 12th at the Indian Pond Country Club in Kingston. I do want to leave a few minutes for some questions from you, because I'm sure I haven't covered everything. But I wanted to share with you a couple testimonials before I give way to questions and answers. One of the ways that I have been so impacted by Talking Information Center is by getting to grow in relationship with our listeners. And one of our listeners was explaining I've learned so much, I should say, too, about what it is to have blindness and low vision and print impairment in your life. It's a tremendous challenge. And it affects so many of us, because it might not affect you at the moment, but I bet you, if you think about it, you know someone, or you will know someone who has this kind of a challenge. It happens in older age. It happens from neurological challenges. So it's more common than you might think. And this gentleman was explaining to me that with his sight impairment, it's hard for him to differentiate between daytime and nighttime. And so his sleep gets disordered. It's hard to figure out when he's supposed to sleep for a long period of time. And he told me that listening to the Talking Information Center book hour, which is in the evening, set him up for a routine. He knows when the day is coming to an end, and he listens to the book hour, that he's winding down for the night, and it differentiated night from day for him. And I thought, what a remarkable thing to be able to do at Talking Information Center, to do that for somebody. And then another one of our listeners explained to me, he was telling me how he came to know the Talking Information Center through his in-laws, his sister-in-law and his brother-in-law. And he said he called it a gift. He said, the gift they gave to me was telling me about the Talking Information Center. And I just thought that spoke so highly of the way that he valued the service that we are bringing. And then the last thing is, last year at the gala, I thought, who wants to really hear from me? So I thought, let's bring up one of our listeners, tell people how the service is impacting them in their lives. And she came up and she said she has tremendous visual impairment, and she said that in her life, she started to feel like she was a burden by asking her loved ones if they would read to her, but she really wanted the information, especially local information, about what was happening in her community. She wanted to know what was happening. And she said that having the Talking Information Center as a way to read her local news changed her life, made her feel less burdensome. And that kind of independence, giving that kind of gift of independence is so meaningful to me, that I can be a small part of that. So, I just thought I'd share those with you, because I think those are important ways of quantifying your effect as a nonprofit. And I'd love to take some questions, if you have any, about anything that I brought up. But I really do want to thank you for having me here today. I feel honored to be in your company, so thank you.
Thank you. You do have brochures and cards, and I just want to say, two stories. I worked in a very part-time job many years ago in radio. I was a radio announcer for a classical music station. Oh, trust me, it paid minimum wage. but it was a wonderful time in my life, and we had a real following, because for some people at that time, that was their only outside world that came in. And it also had NPR and news coverage, some, but mostly just music. And certain announcers had followings and all of that. So I certainly appreciate that piece of it. And as I've gotten older, I do enjoy being read to. I taught reading many years ago to high school students, actually. And one of the first lessons we learned as reading teachers was everyone, no matter what age you are, from a child, a toddler, to an elder, loves being read to. And I find myself, because I read so much in my life as a pastor, theology and everything like that, I love for fiction to be read to me, or poetry. And so I enjoy that in the car, I enjoy that. It's very soothing, for one thing. Do you have anybody that reads books,
Yes.
or fiction, and/or poetry?
Yes, yeah. So I'm actually working on a program right now with the new Poet Laureate for Massachusetts, and we're also doing book hour. We have book hour regularly. And the other thing I should have mentioned it because I think you would love this. We do something called live broadcast radio plays. So we have the actors come into the studio and they perform the play live. We broadcast it after it's been edited, but the people can come to the studio and watch the radio play, and then we edit it, do the editing and the producing up to the recording, and then we broadcast those radio plays. So yeah, and I did mention to you we do the symphonies too. So it's just there's so much culture available on Talking Information Center, just like there is news and information and local newspapers as well. And we do the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times and the Boston Globe, but we also do like local towns.
So one can come into the studio and watch people act or
Yes.
broadcast.
Yes,
Kind of like the Mercury Players.
yes. And you can,
Or
if you
swell.
want to reach out to me, I have the way to reach me is on my business card there too. We'll be doing another radio play, I think, this summer in August. So I think that's the next time. We just did one the other day. My husband did his debut acting in this last one. It's really fun. It was Gunsmoke. Yes.
How do people access it? Do they have to have a particular diagnosis? Live in a certain region?
Oh, you know what? Thank you. I should have mentioned that. This is a free service. No subscription costs, nothing. You just go to the website or go to the app or use your Google, Alexa. Or if that is difficult for you, just call me and I'll get you a radio. And all you do is turn it on and turn the volume. So, yeah.
What is it you say to Alexa?
It's a new command. Sorry, we had one command and now we have a new command. And the new command is, I think, just open Talking Information Center. And if you just say that, a verbal menu will come up. Yeah.
We can write it down. But Alexa, open. You have to say Alexa first.
Yes. Yeah. That's new because we just put the on-demand feature on, so we wanted to give a better menu so you could choose live broadcast or on-demand broadcast.
All right, how do people get involved?
Okay, so yes, there are ways to get involved. You can come and read, and if coming to read is difficult for you for any reason, we can set up a very easy way for you to read for us from home. So we have remote readers and we have in-studio readers, and we're always looking for readers if you're interested in reading. Certainly, we are also looking for donations and financial support. If that is something that you could consider, that's a way you can get involved. I also love to have people help me plan my events, give me input and feedback, and so I will form like working groups to do that kind of a conversation because the events are important. I have a philosophy that people need to know where their money is going and why they send their money. They need to understand why they're volunteering and what the impact of their volunteering is. And so every year I do what's called a collective impact luncheon for our donors. And I do a Thanksgiving mingle where I thank the volunteers for what they have done. And they come and there's appetizers and some drinks, and we just appreciate them for everything that they're doing, whether it's coming in and reading for us or stuffing, we have people coming in on Monday to put cookies in bags for me as a take-home favor for my collective impact lunch that's next week. There's all different ways. The studio is a great place to be, a really welcoming environment. Yes?
Can I get a card from you to get on Rose Radio?
Absolutely, yeah. I have my card, and I have a little, like, pamphlet here that tells you all the ways that you can access us on the back of it. So take both, for sure. And feel free to reach out to me anytime. My personal email is on there, and I'm in the office every day, you know, for some period of time. I do go out and do events like this kind of regularly.
As you know, Brockton has a very large Haitian and Cape Verdean population. Do you have any readers who read in their language?
So right now I don't have Haitian, excuse me, or Cape Verdean. We do have different languages offered at different times. And that is like a great thing. If you were to reach out to me and say, you know someone that would be willing to read for me, I could make that program come on air. So that's the kind of feedback, that's why it's important for me to be out in the community and talking to people.
And that's why it's so good they can do it from their homes. Because I've been to the studio and it's a little trek over there.
Yeah, from here,
And,
yeah.
people don't have access to transportation.
Yes, absolutely, yes. So reading remotely is a fine option.
Do you have young readers,
I do.
like teenagers?
I do. So I'm working on a partnership now with Marshfield High School. I have a daughter in high school now, and one going next year. So I'm going to forge some relationships with their high schools. I like to call that seniors for seniors. You know, senior kids in high school reading for their senior community members. And I also, interestingly, have a few mom and child partners that come into the office right now. One of the kids that reads for us, I think she's 6 years old. So she comes in and reads kids' books. So it's a very diverse crowd of people that volunteer for us.
Do you partner with the library?
Well, we source our own material. Sometimes our books are borrowed, but it sometimes takes us a while to read the whole book for our broadcast, because people usually come in once or twice a week and record what they're reading for us, and then come back the next week and read a couple hours, like that. So we don't have a formal partnership with the library, but we have subscriptions to over 300 publications. It's wild. Yes.
If you said they could read from home, would you do the same thing, a couple of hours, a couple of days a week?
Yes.
From home and then the next week?
Yeah, and some people give me 27 minutes once a week. It just depends on what you're able to give. We can work with really any schedule, but we're always looking for new people to help work, because there are 6 radio reading services in Massachusetts, but TIC is by far the most programming offered. And so it takes a lot of manpower, to generate that many hours of reading.
How many of us knew this existed? Did you have a question? No, Nina, go ahead.
Do you choose the material that the person reading is going to do? Say, I want to suggest something.
No, so it's both ways. So she asked, do I choose the material that someone reads, or does someone else choose the material? We have that program curator. So she'll put together, like, let's say, for instance, you were a nurse and you're interested in medical. So she would have curated, there'll be a folder in the mailbox for medical hour, and you would go in and get it. But if you came in and said, Jackie, I love animals and I'd love to do something National Geographic, then I would just sign you up to do National Geographic. We're very accommodating. Yeah.
Oh, your turn, yes.
Well, sorry about that. Do you read full-length novels or
Yeah.
Moby Dick,
Yeah.
chapter 1 to chapter 50.
That'd be a long reading. But yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, for sure.
But I'm just saying, from an article in National Geographic or something like, as well as
100%. Yeah. So you can listen to Book Hour and you would hear the same book until it's finished, and then a new book would begin. Yes.
I'm just picking on something that right now is. But good. And once again, how many of you knew of this service here in the area?
Yeah.
And Jill.
Yeah.
So wonderful.
Spread the word. That's another way you could help too. Spread the word. I want people to know this is free. This is available. We just want more listeners. The more people that we can serve, the better.
Do you know how many listeners you have?
I do. Probably around 28,000. Yeah, yeah. We have it. Because we can be, because it's on the internet now, we can get access to anywhere in the Commonwealth, and anywhere in the world, really, because it's on the internet. So we do. We have a tremendous listenership.
Great. Any other questions? Let's give Jack. Oh, yeah.
Do the readers have a test period, like, you know, they want to do it, and then they come in and they're really not great readers? I mean, how do you diplomatically?
Yes. So we have we do have like a tiny, very easy audition where you just read into the microphone. But the truth of the matter is, we have a full-time producer. So let's say you come in one week and you have a little bit of a cough or something. They just edit it out. And, you know, because the producer is able to listen to our work and manage that so that it sounds, you know, all of our, I'm biased maybe a tiny bit, but it's very pleasing to listen to, our programming. So, yeah.
Okay. Let's give Jack and we're available for more questions.
Absolutely. Yeah.